How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to your favorite episode of, or your favorite show, I guess I should say.
This is about to be your favorite episode.
It might be your favorite episode, depending on what side of the aisle
Yeah.
you're on. It's a really hot topic nowadays, especially on the interwebs, that we're going to discuss here in like 5 seconds.
They've always been divisive.
They have
I
been
think
very
so,
divisive.
though, you know?
I wonder why that is.
Because they always sucked.
Yes. But anyways, we're back. We took a little bit of a hiatus. Unfortunately, James caught
I got COVID.
So now both of your boys are naturalized.
Yeah, we have herd immunity or something like
We
that.
are both sterilized and regular naturalized.
Mm-hmm. We have become naturalized citizens.
Yeah, of the COVID world. Was it fun? Did you have fun?
I stayed home from work. I mean, that was about as well as it could be.
For me, it was like the first day was cool because I just literally slept.
Yeah.
And then after halfway through the second day, I was just like, I just want to go back to work.
Yeah.
I was just.
How long did you have a
staying
fever
home.
for?
I had a fever not that long, honestly.
Yeah, I
like
had
3
one for
days.
2 days.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
crazy.
Yeah. I just had a really bad cough and a really bad headache.
Did you lose smell and taste? I didn't either.
No. I wonder if Big Pharma's lying. I'm just kidding.
It would suck too, because it's like, you know, you get the vaccine and then you still get all these terrible symptoms afterwards, and it's like, this could have killed me if I didn't have, you know, if this was this bad. You know, who knows how worse it would have been. Nevertheless, good thing we are not fans of Shazam, because Zachary Levi, is that his name?
Yeah.
Tweeting out how vaccines don't do anything against
What a guy.
coronavirus.
What a character.
What a card.
Yeah, I've met him.
Really?
He worked on one of the shows I was on.
Nice.
He's
I have not, so I have no problem calling him out for being a doofus.
No, I'm not gonna. Yeah, he's exactly how you would imagine. I'll say that. It's not like I'm afraid to call him out or anything. But, yeah. It's he's a character, that's for sure, in real life. I'll say that much.
Understandable. It's probably how he gets work.
Anyways, it'd be like that. Anyways, on to the real topic at hand. We're talking superhero movies today, in light of recent news. Both the Blue Beetle and the Flash. I think the Flash less recent, but the Blue Beetle
Always topical.
I feel like we've been talking about the Flash for like 6 years.
And we still haven't seen
Right?
it. Yeah.
We've just been talking so much crap about Ezra Miller, rightfully so. By the way, he's a diabolical man. But I think the Blue Beetle fiasco / conundrum / WTF is Warner Brothers doing situation prompted me to text you randomly, just like, hey,
we need to talk about this.
we need to talk about this.
Yeah.
Just what's going on in the world.
Did you know that
superheroes.
Warner Brothers blamed the low turnout for Blue Beetle
Yes.
on Hurricane Hillary?
Yeah.
It's understandable that Los Angeles, with its massive population, would make up a large majority of your box office. But that's one corner of the continental, domestic box office. You still have the same amount of people in Toronto who didn't watch your movie either.
Yeah, I have no idea why. I feel like it was just a Hail Mary, like hopefully we can.
Once the hurricane passes, you can all go and see the movie now.
Yeah. That'd be funny, right? Everybody just goes to watch it. It's like, oh shit, where are you?
They do a Morbius where they re-release it the second time.
It does even worse.
Yeah. But that's prompted, so more than Blue Beetle, I think, the success of Barbie and Oppenheimer, and even Mission Impossible, I'll throw you in there,
Yeah.
has a lot of people talking online about diversity in box office and the death of the superhero movie. Because while there was hype behind Barbie and Oppenheimer driven by the Barbenheimer meme, I think people were just happy to have something else to watch that wasn't Avengers or a Justice League tie-in of some degree. So,
because what's like the last movie where there was considerable hype, and it was maybe Dune? But even Dune, I felt like it wasn't that. Like I feel like people watched it for 2 weeks and then we're like, all right, we're waiting for the next. We're waiting for Black Adam next week.
Even something like Everything Everywhere All at Once, it had hype that all came after it was released.
Yeah, exactly.
It was like a sleeper hit. So I'd probably Tenet. I don't know. You'd probably have to go back to the last Nolan movie.
Interstellar?
Yeah, all the way back then, maybe. I don't know. There's probably something that I'm just forgetting because it just it didn't have the impact over time, you know. I almost said The Batman, but that would still be a superhero film. It just didn't feel like one.
Because if you go by the big names, right, it's... Yeah, they're hype, but they're not like astronomical levels where these both movies are slated to make billions of dollars. It's more of like, yo, all the film bros are excited that Quentin Tarantino's coming out with a movie.
Yeah.
Like, that's cool, you know?
Not exactly the four
quadrant.
quadrant.
See it, but his movies don't tend to lend themselves well to the like machine that is Hollywood.
Yeah.
Even though we may like his movies a whole lot,
they're just an art piece.
Yeah, they don't necessarily drive people to go watch it in a theater for 3 hours or whatever have you.
But do you think that superhero movies are dying now?
I think so. I think we're in a weird stage. So it's I think it's a fatigue thing, and I think it's just pure, there's no talent behind these movies whatsoever, other than Matt Reeves with the Batman movie.
Behind the talent, as in on camera.
On camera, behind the camera, financing the movies.
Some people might argue that James Gunn is talented.
Yeah,
man,
they're wrong.
Fair enough.
He made the C-list superhero team like funny, and everybody's like, "Oh, he's this wonderful guy." It's like,
let's give him control of our franchise.
Look at his IMDb for 2 seconds. I'm just saying.
I can't even name another James Gunn movie,
exactly,
so
exactly.
I think a part of it, in my opinion, is largely fatigue from audience and in the industry. I think audiences are just tired of the multiverse universe. Everything ties in, and I think that on the production side, people are tired of the production line conveyor belt scheduling that is forcing them to basically come out with crap work. We've seen visual effects artists complaining like crazy because the way that Marvel was just forcing them to just throw something together and not even care about quality whatsoever at the end of the day.
Proud about their work or whatever. Yeah.
So I think there's a fatigue on both ends of the table. That being said, I still think that superheroes stuff has a chance. I still think it will have another time in the spotlight.
I think the way it survives is if you start doing these one-offs, right? You start doing... We kind of go back to pre-MCU where it's not everything needs to be connected. It just needs to be like...
You just have
we're going to grab stories from these comic book arcs and write our own little
They don't come together as a
team.
You just have your Ghost Rider stuff over here, your Daredevil stuff over there.
You could do like a Hulk versus, Wolverine.
Yeah.
Like, I even hesitate to say that because I feel like that's going to happen and I'm going to hate it.
Which Hulk, though? Is it going to be the Edward Norton Hulk?
God,
or is
I
it
hope
going
not.
to be the
God,
Mark
I hope
Ruffalo
not.
Hulk?
Edward Norton, most overrated actor of all time?
He was in
or
Fight
not
Club.
Edward Norton, Mark Ruffalo. Sorry.
Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah, Mark Ruffalo.
Well, got me worried for a second there.
Sorry.
One of them was in Fight Club, all right?
yeah, Edward Norton was in Fight Club. Yeah, I meant Mark Ruffalo.
Mark Ruffalo, I think he's a good actor if he's in the right thing. I don't know if it's hard to judge actors based off of superhero films. I think Ricky Gervais said it best, that they're not actors, they're just athletes.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one. Mm-hmm. They're like modern day gladiators.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's a good one.
So he's been in good stuff before. All this Kenneth Lonergan stuff, independent films. He's a good actor.
Sure.
I just think the Hulk is a,
bad character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What can you do?
Fair enough. But you did touch upon something with the multiverse stuff that I think we should talk about because when you start introducing these ideas of, we can just erase our mistakes or, we can bring like 7 different iterations of this one character. It kind of like you just lose weight behind everything that happens in the universe.
I think the issue is they're tying them in across films.
Yeah.
Because the Spider-Verse movies do that well, but they're a self-contained thing.
Yeah.
They don't tie into anything else.
Yeah.
Not yet, at least.
Well, there's also the Spider-Verse has nothing to go before.
Yeah. It's like it's Miles Morales' story.
The first one is the Big Bang for whatever comes of this Sony animation universe.
So I feel like they do that well, where they manage to be a one-off thing, but they can still touch upon the multiverse aspect. They're just lucky enough to not have to really tie into everything else. Being from Sony probably helps, not having the connection to Disney.
Sure. It also helps that the multiverse is more of a character and not a crutch that they use in the plot.
It's not a like an actual business model is what it is, basically.
Yeah.
That's all they're using it for. Because even if you go back to the beginning of when superhero movies started being taken seriously, I would say...
Would you say like...
I was going to say Iron Man.
Iron Man?
Yeah. That was just... The sequels were cool to get, but that was just one thing. It was just over there. And then the whole phase 1 stuff came together, and it's like they lost me a little bit, personally.
They lost a lot of people because a lot of those phase 1 movies suck.
Yeah. I think back to like just seeing like Thor on TV and being like...
When Iron Man 3 is like probably the 3rd best movie of that phase. Including the Avengers in that, by the way. That's sad. It's a sad first phase.
Different era of pop culture.
It is really weird to go back and watch like the first Avengers. You're like, this is so totally different. I mean, I guess it helps that it's Joss Whedon who is famous for his style, for better or worse.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just
famous for his style for better, infamous for his conduct for worse.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, I think you're right on the one-off thing. The business model of the multiverse can work again. It worked the first time with Thanos. All of the Avengers movies tying in to
but that was
Infinity
all
War
one.
And Thanos.
That was all one universe.
Yes.
There was multiple. It was like this. We blew out it, but it was still one.
Yeah. Well, I'm using multiverse as
like
the idea of the
circle.
All the movies tying in together.
Oh, okay.
I'm using it interchangeably.
Okay, not the actual like physics, like
the
theoretical physics
business
multiverse.
Model.
Okay. I got you.
I think the issue with expanding to including the multiverse in the stories is that issue of what's the point of making mistakes anymore? You can just retcon everything within the span of 130 minutes.
Well, and they even have done it with Loki. Loki's died like 5 times.
Yeah.
Like, what is like?
What was
I feel
Endgame,
nothing
but
for.
what big...
I feel nothing for any character's death anymore.
Yeah.
Because even when Tony Stark died, I was like, they're gonna bring him back.
Yeah.
And I still think they're gonna bring him back. But it's like, that's why I hated the way Endgame came, where it was like, we got to go back in time and bring back everybody. It's like, what's the... Then that you just cheapened Infinity War to the nth degree because of that. Because it's like, we fought for 3 hours to do this one thing, and then it's like, oh, by the way, we can just do this, and everybody's back. Like, there's no problems. It's like, what?
Yeah.
That's just bad writing.
How about this then? TV shows.
Oh, I hate them.
Yeah.
I hate the idea of them. I hate how you have to watch. I mean, even Star Wars is starting to do this now with the new Ahsoka show. It's the stupidest thing in the world.
I think that was Marvel's problem going into, what was it, Phase 4? Where it was after Endgame, everything became a TV show.
Yeah.
And you had to watch the shows. But the issue with that was the character development and the storylines across the span of the seasons just wasn't padded enough to feel like substance.
Yeah.
I mean, WandaVision, sure, that hit it off. That was well. The Loki show, I've heard plenty of good things about. I couldn't tell you a single other one of any of those TV shows that they came out with. Even the recent one, Secret Invasion, people were just saying that it was just
bad.
It was basically just a tax write-off because it didn't tie into the movie and it didn't actually resolve any of the plot points that were left open.
That's the one that I started like perking my ears, like, oh,
something's going on.
People are upset.
Yeah, they have to resort to AI art now.
I just don't understand. Like, you alienate so much of your audience when you resort to these like cheap ways or not cheap ways, but like,
well, they're cheapening their own product,
putting important story, like they're basically doing a Kingdom Hearts.
You'll have to explain to the
where it's like, all right, there's 3 main games, but then all the important stuff is like on the handheld devices that you actually have to go and play to actually understand the next game. That's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah,
to Kingdom Hearts 2 and to Kingdom Hearts 3, you cannot just play those. You have to like, it goes Kingdom Hearts 2, and then there's like 15 spin-offs, and then you go play Kingdom Hearts 3 to actually understand the story.
And it's getting really bad when every YouTube video that claims to explain it has a different plot line that they have to focus on.
It's just, it's dumb. I don't understand it. I mean, I understand it money, but in terms of building like a concise universe, it just doesn't make sense to me, at least.
So you are in charge of Warner Brothers.
Oh,
you look at the roster of DC Comics.
First off, my first order of business is giving Christopher Nolan $100 million to bring
put a real nuke in the movie.
I'm like, all right, I'm sorry for what my predecessor did. I apologize. Come back to me. Let's do it right. But anyways,
you look at the roster of DC Comics, both the films that they have and where they think the Justice League is going. You're basically in James Gunn's position. What do you adapt, and how do you adapt it?
I think you just have to do a hard reset.
Reset.
Just get rid of all the characters.
Now,
no more Ezra Miller, no more Ben Affleck, no more Henry Cavill, even though he's the best part of any of those movies. No more. For the love of God, I will pay Gal Gadot $50 million to stop coming to work.
Now, do you do that with a like Crisis on Infinite Earth reset of the entire universe?
No, I think
like
you just have to come out with your own original version of the characters.
They 100% would.
They're not. No, they're not going
movie.
to do it.
They're not going to, but they would do a Crisis movie.
If it was me, I would do it.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying they're gonna bring back Ben Affleck. They're gonna bring back Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
They're gonna do all that, and they're gonna try and keep it together. But if it was me, I would just say, look, I don't know what the F y'all did. It was terrible, but I'm doing my 2012 Celtics. I'm just selling all my good players, and I'm just gonna restart from scratch. We're gonna try and win a championship in 5 years. That's what I would do, because that's the problem that Marvel or DC had was Marvel was already on their 15th movie, heading into Avengers 2. DC was like, wait, we can do that.
We need something.
We can do that.
Yeah.
And then they were like, wait, why don't we just like cut out 12 movies? And we'll do a team up in the 3rd movie. And it's like, that doesn't work. Because, A, we don't know any of the characters other than Superman and Batman.
Yeah.
And B, we don't even know who these characters are if we're going off of just Superman and Batman.
And also, Marvel had the advantage of they could have an individual story, and then they could have the overarching story that would just come in at the end or just be slightly included in the middle. Whereas with DC, it was like you had to have a part of the larger narrative in your story, but you didn't have enough films to really connect all of them together. By the time you get to the big reveal or the big Justice League movie, it's like, well, we only know these characters have one interaction with this thing. We don't know about everything else beyond it. I think part of what DC's problem was also giving a lot more artistic control to their directors.
To Zack Snyder specifically.
Yeah. Not to say that I don't like Zack Snyder.
Right.
I do.
Yeah.
But having watched his cut of the Justice League movie, there was no way that they were ever going to recoup whatever that cost. And not to say that the film was bad on its own, just the direction he went with it is so anti-action movie, anti-superhero film that it's like they wanted to have their Infinity War, but he wanted to have his like Tree of Life or whatever.
Yeah.
And DC either should have just accepted that and been like, all right, we're not going to market this as a superhero crowd. We're going to market this as a super like film bro crowd. Or Zack Snyder should have just caved and been like, fine, I'll do your freaking, I'll act like Joss Whedon for a movie. I'll remake, Sucker Punch.
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
So I feel like that was also part of, that was established DC identity was we're the people with style.
Yeah.
Every Marvel movie looks the same, but we're going to have color grading.
We have actual good visual effects.
Yeah.
In more than half of our shots.
We can digitally dim the lights, to 37%. But I feel like that also ended up kind of biting them in the ass at the end of the day because they ended up being too style over substance. Yeah. Whereas Marvel was too much substance and no style.
I think what Marvel did the best was they just had charismatic actors.
Yeah,
they were just like these guys, whether it's on the screen or whether they're in the interviews doing whatever, they're messing around. They like just ooze friendliness and like good guys to a degree. Maybe not so much Robert Downey Jr.
But that's also his
considering his
character.
history.
Yeah, but that's part of his character
I was going
too.
more of just the history of.
That's true. Drug abuse
as a
and
person.
alcohol. Yeah.
But regardless, but I think that helps that you have like these people that are like fun, and then you go to watch Justice League and you go, I don't care about
Yeah.
What's
you don't even know their names.
Aquaman. I don't care about like Ezra Miller's cool, kind of, but it's like Ezra Miller's the only one with actual character to him.
Yeah, and I feel like so. In order to fix superhero movies, do you reverse that dynamic?
What do you mean? Go more.
Do you think it would be better if Marvel started taking itself a little more seriously and they didn't have a joke every other line, and you feel like DC could start making comedies like they're Marvel?
They could. And what's crazy is they have, and they completely, if they wanted to, they could make like 15 of the greatest bank heist movies or crime dramas or whatever.
Well, I feel like Blue Beetle had like a market towards like teens and young adults. Like it totally was going for a way younger audience. That let it be funnier and more entertaining, you would even say.
Yeah. I think the problem with that is just that those trailers are terrible.
I think the trailers were terrible, and also Blue Beetle as a character doesn't have any recognition beyond people who just know him from like the Justice League TV show, and that's it. And those people aren't even in the demographic for that movie anymore. We're too old now. So
because they're doing Blue Beetle is weird because they were trying to market towards the superhero that the crowd that they're trying to get back in, but then also it's like we want to show towards like Mexican American families because the family's Mexican, and then it's like we're also hip and flashy and we're cool, and it's like
this is our Spider-Verse.
Okay, you're trying to cater towards 3 different people, and I don't think any of the 3 people want to go watch your movies.
I feel like DC needs to just pick one character and say this will be the central character for the next 5 films. Yeah, and
well, it was supposed to be Henry Cavill.
It was supposed to be Henry Cavill, and then it was supposed to be The Rock.
Yeah, and then they just kind of like, I don't know the whole story behind it, but it just sounded like they just short-sticked him, and they shafted him, and we're like, you're good. We're good, bro.
I feel like Warner Brothers' issue is that they rely too much on the box office to tell them what to do.
Yeah.
And even the main actor from Blue Beetle, I know his first name is Sholo, I don't remember his last name. Even he in interviews were like, numbers don't matter to me, but they do to Warner.
Yeah.
And it's like, I could become the centerpiece of the DC universe for the next few films.
Yeah.
But if the movie doesn't perform, they're going to completely scrap my project and just go try something new.
They could even put him in like a Teen Titans type
Yeah.
of like Redux. What is he? Young Justice actually. He's in one of
Either
those
or,
groups.
yeah.
But like they could do that with him.
Young Justice. He was in Young Justice.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. Because Teen Titans, I was like, that doesn't sound right. I just pissed off a lot of people.
No, that's fine.
All 5 people that watch. But they could do that with him like they did with Robert Downey Jr.
Mm-hmm.
And it would make sense. The problem is the movie is just the same 30,000 movies we've had before this since 2008. So it's like, if you're not willing to do something somewhat original,
Mm-hmm.
like why should we care about this guy? Why would we go watch this character?
What seems it would be original then? Because I instantly think now, at this day and age, would be the perfect time for a Watchmen movie. When everyone is turning against superhero movies, if they did a Watchmen adaptation right now,
They're kind of doing that with The Boys, which is a whole nother like.
it's a
By
different.
the way, The Boys, most overrated TV show of all time.
Hey, I like Garth Ennis. Don't make fun of anything he's ever written.
I don't know. I've seen like 3 episodes.
That's understandable.
I'm just joking around.
I feel like, to be fair, the way that The Boys kind of deconstructs superheroes is far less intellectual than the way that
it's more of a
Watchmen does
commentary
it.
on just absolute power,
On power and violence,
and
I think.
celebrities and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Yeah,
Which that has a lot of reach beyond the superhero
sure.
crowd.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
Again, I've only seen 3 episodes of The Boys. I'm just joking around.
you're totally
I have no
fine.
opinion on The Boys.
But I feel like something like Watchmen, which is a far more just like what do these characters stand for and
Yeah.
how do they dictate our morals. I feel like if that kind of adaptation came out today, that would probably be a good change of pace for superhero films.
Well, when the TV show came out, everybody was talking about it.
Yeah.
And then the
People like
creator
it.
was like, "Yeah, I'm good just doing 5 episodes."
That's
Which
fair too.
I don't. By the
Yeah,
way.
I respect it.
I respect it a lot. But
Bad business decision.
Yeah.
but
yeah,
our
But-
integrity is good.
it's like people are obviously dying for stuff like that, but it's like, where is it coming from? Because these heads want to hire these James Gunns and Ron Howards, who really hasn't made a quality movie since like Rush. He's been stuck in the stupid Disney machine ever since. And it's like, cool, you guys are getting, has-beens, but like, where's the new young talent? And that's what I thought with Patty Jenkins. I was like, oh, this is cool. This is a new director. She made a really decent Warner Brothers movie, DC movie, which, considering we just came off of Batman versus Superman and Justice League, I was like, cool.
We need something else.
I need something that's actually like watchable.
Yeah.
And then she just completely stunk it up with the second one. And it's like, all right, maybe we
Not the direction to go in.
maybe we were lied to. I don't know what.
So,
the
do
deal
you
is.
think that they would need a young director who's going to bring in new ideas, or an older veteran who
they
is
have
going
to do like
the
an A24 thing where it's just
Yeah.
like, there's these young up and coming directors. We've seen their short films. Let's give them $25 million and let's just figure it out. That's another thing too that I think these movies have problems with is their budgets are so ginormous, and it's like,
yeah, that's true.
you can make quality movies for
Less.
20, 30, 40, 50 million dollars. You don't have to spend 120, 150, 200 million dollars. I mean, Oppenheimer was made with 100 million and probably 80 of it went just to the cast.
Yeah, I think part of the thing that Warner Brothers seems they don't like practical effects. I think that they are full in on just their visual effects department, for better or for worse. There's been less controversy over Warner Brothers visual effects scenes than there were over Disney's. But nevertheless, I don't know. I feel like one-off projects, I think, is the way to go.
Yeah.
I think you're right about that. I think that a series of movies like what Spider-Verse is doing, where it's one story just over the course of its sequels, I think that would be exactly fine to do. I think I might go the opposite and say they might need older talent and older directors to bring in more.
Just grab like David Fincher.
Yeah, more refined kind of. Because with young directors, they might misunderstand the intention behind the producers, where it's, I'm giving you all this money to make your vision, but if your vision is going to go A24, we still want to market this as a 4-quadrant movie. I don't know if that's going to really sit well at the end of the day, a la Zack Snyder's Justice League. I feel like they need somebody maybe like a Ron Howard who would understand kind of like, sure, what I make might be wet bread, but it's going to be, your box office hit for a weekend or two.
But the problem with that is what's been happening.
You just don't think the quality
you
itself.
We're seeing. Well, I think that's just. It's just starting to show its ugly head, where it's like we've seen this 50 million times. The same has been, the same no-name directors, the same like guys that, quite frankly, a lot of them just aren't
not
good
that
directors.
Good. Yeah,
yeah, nothing
Do
wrong
you
with
feel
saying
like
that. And it's like we need an injection of
something else?
Something.
Do you feel like DC should start focusing on animation in the same way that
like Sony
Spider-Verse? Yeah.
I mean, if they're smart, yes. But there's just too much money in.
DC makes animated films, but those are DC animated films. They're not connected to Warner.
Yeah.
So I feel like if Warner Brothers started putting its money into their animated films, you might see something.
By the way, the DC animated movies, pretty good.
Usually top notch. Yeah,
they're
surprisingly,
they're pretty good.
Very well animated too.
Yeah.
They don't get a lot of attention or love, but usually because they go straight to streaming or DVD.
Yeah.
Nevertheless,
I've caught myself down the rabbit hole of watching like 50 clips.
Just different versions of It Was Me, Barry.
Just like 6 hours. Yeah, that too. That too. Yeah, that too. Because all right, so to get off DC, I do feel the same is happening to Marvel.
I only have one last thing to say about Warner.
Okay, go.
Canceling projects.
Okay.
I feel like that reveals their hand and game plan more than anything, because it shows that they are trying to genetically engineer every project to just make us our money and then we write it off as.
Yeah, for sure.
And even we'll make it and then we'll just cancel it on the spot and just get a tax write-off from it. They did it recently with Nightwing. Nightwing in the comics, for those of you who are comic book fans, absolutely killing it right now. Probably one of the most popular series out of DC at the moment. But Warner won't even let its movie get off the ground because whatever reason, they just want to put things into production and then just kill it on the spot.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like it's just.
I think a lot of it is that CEO. I think he knows he's only there to sell.
Mm-hmm.
He's there to go in, cut out all the fat, quotation marks on fat, and then just sell to some other company in like 5 years. So that way he can make a lot of money.
All right.
Which is fine.
That's a CEO's
when it's
job.
not, one of the most popular
It's not affecting
entertainment
people's
conglomerates in the world. And like if this was like Johnson & Johnson trying to sell Bounty paper towels, and I noticed that my Bounty paper towels were a little cheaper quality, I'd be like, whatever.
As long as it soaks up water. Fair enough.
But when it's, I don't know,
something
Warner Brothers,
yeah.
I would say the most iconic movie studio in Hollywood. Definitely the most. When you think of Hollywood, that's the one that I go to first. My mind goes to, like just classic American studios.
So, what was your original point before I cut you off?
Well, Marvel's also starting to have this issue.
That's true.
It just. What is going on? What are we doing?
Their bad decision was putting everything in the TV shows.
Yes.
I still stand by that. I think that was just, which is to say that not that they shouldn't have been TV shows. I don't even think those ideas should have been movies at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I think they should have been a lot more careful because, hey, it's the pandemic. Everyone is home in quarantine. We can put all our shows on Disney Plus. Everyone is going to watch the hell out of them.
Yeah.
That happened, but when everyone came out of quarantine, they're like, all right, got anything else for us now? And they're like, more of what you were already watching, perhaps? It's like, no, we can we go back to actually, getting something of quality and substance from you? And then they gave us the Black Widow movie, and everyone was like, all right, peace.
Yeah,
we're not going to do this anymore.
That movie was bad.
That was the one that broke the VFX. That was the straw that broke the camel's back of the
when
Marvel
you start
VFX.
to notice all the weird shots.
Yeah.
The matte backgrounds, and you're like, what the hell?
So I think that hopefully Oppenheimer and Barbie inspires a lot more creativity on the from the producers at Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
Because
they did it. They did it with Nolan.
Yeah.
They were like, we know you have 2 movies. Mm-hmm. We're interested in what you have to do for us. Here is the trilogy. Here is basically our like cash cow, the Batman. Mm-hmm. Go do something with it.
And Marvel did it with Iron Man.
Yeah, with Jon Favreau.
Yeah,
another just he's up and coming. He already had a long career at that point, but he wasn't, he wasn't as well known in the mainstream, I would say. And they were like, "Here's X amount of money, go make something with it," And it's like, you guys can do it, you just don't want to, because I think for so long you guys realized, well, if we just hire if we just hire like this $300,000 director, it's like they can just put out something that people will watch. Well, guess what? People don't want to watch it anymore.
Well, the truth is too is that from a fan's perspective, you think take the risk of putting more money into a higher quality product. We will appreciate that more as an audience member if we just see the effort put into it. Mm-hmm. Whereas their actual model is put the least amount of money as possible into as many projects as possible and hope that fans just, whatever they eat up the best, will just continue to serve them.
It's weird.
And if nobody wants it, then that's okay. We got 4 more things coming out this year that maybe will stick. And
it's weird.
That was WandaVision. All right, we need to put Elizabeth Olsen in everything now. And that was Loki. All right, we're going to do a 2nd season of Loki. Everything else, won't even mention that it ever existed. We'll remove it from our platform, actually. It's just such a weird way to like, movies are a product to be sold to people at the end of the day, but the illusion of, artistic integrity going into them has to be maintained when you actually start treating movies and TV shows like a product that can be recalled. Yeah. It's like you break that illusion, and people don't like when that happens. People who
it's becoming more commercialized, and I think it's starting to finally hit the ugly point where it's like, we don't care.
I think the issue is that, because obviously you and me, we've been to film school, we love movies, we talk about them on a level deeper than just whether we, like the plot or story or characters.
Yeah.
The general audience doesn't do that. They just like the plot and the characters. And when they start noticing the problem and they get pissed off, that's when Marvel had its issues, because they shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
They should notice those issues, and yet Marvel just fumbled the bag completely because they just had the wrong mindset with how they were approaching their business.
Yeah, there needs to be a shock to the whole genre. I keep saying it, but it's true. Because think about like the Western, right? It was dead for so many years, and then what comes out in the 2000s? There's No Country for Old Men, which is quasi-Western. Would we consider There Will Be Blood a Western? Not really.
There Will Be Blood? Yeah, it's a Western.
Okay. And then Hell or High Water, which is another like modern day Western.
Clint Eastwood as well. He did Unforgiven, which won Best Picture. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So clearly the Westerns, you can have just one smash hit that even revitalizes a genre.
Tarantino with Django, which is probably the loosest.
It's a Tarantino Western as well.
The loosest link I can possibly make, but for the sake of the argument, I will say that it's there. It's like
Hateful Eight would also be another good one.
sure,
Too.
yeah, even better. It's like so you can revive a genre and keep it going, but it's just there needs to be something infused where we're deconstructing the genre and then rebuilding it. I mean, that's why people think The Dark Knight and Logan are two of the greatest superhero movies of all time, because it's deconstructing the genre and the characters of superheroes, of the superhero world and comics, and you know, giving them to a degree like real world ethos and pathos.
Even at the height of superhero movies' popularity, Infinity War completely shattering everyone's expectation about what a superhero movie is supposed to do to you, emotionally speaking.
Yeah. Infinity War is good.
Yeah.
I rewatched it the other day. It's like really
It's a really good movie.
really good. I was surprised how, because I mean, I went to watch it and I was like, this is cool. And then I rewatched it the other day and I was like, this is actually like good.
Legit. Yeah. That it is like, that's why I love Infinity War. It's the perfect synthesis of putting the money behind making something high quality and the actual content, you know, doing something different with the genre. In the movie, of course, it's based off of comic books that have already done that before.
Yeah.
But to the general audience, people couldn't stop talking about it because here's this one thing that we've given you that's just the exact same thing for 10 films, and now here's one thing that completely subverts everything that you know about it. Nobody could shut up about Thanos after that. That's the kind of thing that they really
can't
need.
shut up about Thanos.
The reason why doing, you know, Kong with Jonathan Major, rest in peace, for their next phase doesn't work is because
there's a lot of reasons why it doesn't work.
Well, the multiverse and the idea of his character,
the in-universe
reason, doesn't work is because that idea just doesn't capture people's attention in the same way that killing all of your heroes did. So I feel like that was kind of just a swing and a miss from them.
Yeah.
And I think for better, that idea has died. Not to be done. But then again, as Warner Brothers proved with The Flash, we'll just go through with anything if we can't reshoot it.
It's wild because he was like on a rise. I watched Devotion the other day. Phenomenal in that movie. He's so good in that
Ezra
movie.
Miller?
No.
Or Jonathan Majors? Yeah, that's fair too.
And it's like, God, this was going to be the next guy. He was going to be the next guy. Because we liked him so much in Creed, and then I liked him in Devotion as Logan Falls. And then it's like, man, you were on a hot run, and it's just like... Anyways... But I also wanted let's end on this before we rank our top superhero movies just for fun because I thought of it last second.
Fair enough.
As in like 2 seconds ago. This one's to the audience members. Stop watching bad stuff. It's as simple as that. I keep seeing this stuff where it's like, oh my God, I can't believe Marvel for the 4th movie has done this. Like, why do they have no originality? How about, I don't know, just an idea. We just stop giving them money. We stop going to their midnight releases. We stop subscribing to Disney Plus. We stop, or at least stop watching it on Disney Plus. It's like if you don't think something is good, don't watch the next product. It's as simple as that. It's so simple. Where it's like if you don't think something is gonna be good, don't watch it. Cannot believe the amount of times I saw people be like, "Oh man, yeah." The Marvels looks pretty whack, and then like I guarantee you it's gonna make $500 million at the box office.
Yeah, I feel like I agree with the sentiment. Basing on trailers might be, you know, a bad idea.
I think at this point you can base things.
That's true. We've seen some terrible trailers.
At least
recently.
with the superhero genre,
That's
you
true.
can base things off trailers.
I think these studios are gonna need like an offensive bomb. Black Adam didn't do well.
Yeah.
They shrugged it off. Shazam 2, nobody even liked it. They shrugged it off.
Yeah.
Blue Beetle, they're going to shrug it off. Warner Brothers is going to need, like, nobody saw it, and the people who did want their money back levels of a terrible bomb. They're going to need like a Morbius. Because sure enough, Morbius, Marvel was like, all right, we'll take our foot off the gas for a little bit. We'll walk it back.
Yeah.
And maybe rethink our phase.
Yeah.
They
were going to do like a whole... Well, no, that's not even true because they're doing the Kraven movie.
Well... stuff already in production by the time that Morbius came out, I'm sure. They still went through with Ant-Man setting up Kong, you know. It's what can you do at that point? But they still said that they would rethink things after Morbius, so sure enough, you can have a bad enough movie to make them go, all right, fire this team, get a new team in. What else are we going to do?
Yeah.
I think Warner Brothers is going to need something. Outside of superhero films, I think Nolan having just as much success elsewhere as he could have with them was definitely probably a good,
it's crazy.
Salt in the wound.
Did you expect this movie to make this? Have you seen how much it's made?
Oppenheimer?
Yeah.
No, I have not seen
$800 million.
That's impressive enough. Yeah.
That's a lot of fucking money.
Barbie still
For
does
a
better.
movie about an American
theoretical
nuclear
physics.
physicist.
Yeah. Not even Einstein.
Rated
either.
R, 3 hours.
Yeah.
And it was against one of the biggest giants that we've ever seen in the 2020s.
Yeah.
And it still made $800 million. Is just absurd to me.
That's Nolan right there. It's the power of a last name.
Our boy is back. He's back. He's so back.
Did he ever leave? All right.
Debatable.
Yeah. Favorite superhero film? Oppenheimer, number 1. What that man did for America?
Oh, God. I was going to say, is there a Sherman movie?
Probably. We'll throw Patton in there.
We'll just start throwing in random divisive characters.
Yeah. LMAO. Yeah. Best superhero film? Mishima, A Life in 4 Chapters. Shout out to my dad. He's probably going to be the only one who gets that joke.
I would say mine are The Dark Knight, Logan, Captain America 2, Iron Man, probably Infinity War. No, I take that back. Sorry. Man of Steel.
You take that back?
Man of Steel.
Okay. Man of Steel is
I think
definitely
would be my top 5. Fucking, I love Man of Steel.
Dark Knight, Man of Steel is definitely up there for me. Infinity War, I love that one. That's probably my favorite Marvel film, easily.
Thor 2,
Was it Iron
The Dark
Man?
World.
No, Ragnarok. What are you talking about? Was it Iron Man 2 that had War Machine that introduced him? Iron Man 2.
I think it's Mickey Rourke.
He was the villain, right?
Yeah, I think
so. Yeah. That one, I would say, would probably be my favorite Iron Man.
Check just in case. I think it was Mickey Rourke.
And then...
That one's cool. I like that one.
Was that
I don't know why people
there?
didn't like that one.
I was too young to care what other people thought at the time. That was the one I think that had the Gendy Tarkovsky storyboarded fight scene. So that's right there.
Maybe.
Shout that out, Samurai Jack. Those would be 4, and then 5, I gotta say Across the Spider-Verse. I mean, that's just a fantastic film in my opinion. I love that one.
Wait, is Across the first one or the second one?
Into the Spider-Verse.
Into Across and then Beyond.
Yep.
All right, I gotta start thinking like that. So where are we at? We're into it, and we're across it.
And then we're going to go beyond it. So Across the Spider-Verse, I would throw that one in there too. That would probably be my immediate top 5, gun to my head. I could probably come up with a way more complex list.
You know what I would love to have? Let's have a movie critic on and just ask them what is their thought process when they're giving Iron Man 3 a 6. Like, what about it did you think was going to be a 10 out of 10? You know? I'll say that superhero movies are the one time I take the actual audience stars on IMDb more into account than the critic.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Because it's like, because like a superhero movie getting a 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
From critics is like accepted.
Mm-hmm.
But a superhero movie
from
6
the
out of 10 from the audience is like, oh, this shit's bad.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. It's one of those where it's like a 6 out of 10 from a critic is basically going to guarantee a 10 out of 10 from the audience.
Yeah. Because let me look at The Flash real quick.
Well, that's probably low-hanging fruit.
The Flash 6.9.
Yeah.
56 on Metacritic. So like that fits the bill.
Now look up the Batman.
The Batman, I think I think the Batman's like a
Which I think I would,
8 point
if I had to
something.
replace Iron Man 2, I would probably put the Batman in there. I love that one. That was
that's a good
great
one.
film.
The
too.
Batman is 7.8 stars, 72 on Metascore.
You see, even a 7, I'm like, that's probably a 10 out of 10 in my
Yeah,
opinion. But
yeah, exactly. When you see the
who gives that a
sevens
7?
from both like circles, you're like, oh, this is actually
It's a
like,
banger.
gonna be the best movie of all time.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
It's weird. I would love to sit down with a critic.
And see what
When
their
they're
thought
like,
process is. Like
what-
an
like,
actual hired
what-
critic for a
Yeah,
newspaper.
yeah. Just like, what goes in your mind?
Mm.
Like, I would also just like to hear their thought process on critiquing a movie, because there are definitely some movies where I'm like, how does that get
Yeah.
68?
I know people like Roger Ebert would say that, you have to think in terms of what was the film trying to accomplish
Yeah,
for what it set out to do.
which is the right way to do it.
Debatable.
Well, at least when you're critiquing a movie,
That's fair. Well,
because there has to be
Debatable.
an element of objectivity, of like, this is a well put, like The Lighthouse.
yeah, it's
I
a
did not
well
like
put
it,
together.
but it's a
together
well
movie, but
put together movie, and I personally can see why people do like it. It just
Mm-hmm.
doesn't click with me.
that's fair.
Or like, just to put it like music,
Mm-hmm.
Tyler the Creator, very talented individual,
Yeah.
probably one of the most
Just doesn't
talented
hit it for
guys.
you.
Just like 85% of his songs just don't do anything for me.
That's fair enough. I feel like I take context too much into account, because it would be like, I can't critique a movie like Trolls 2.
Yeah,
Because it's like, if that's set out
Yeah.
to be a kid's movie, kids are going to like that no matter what. Even if I think Across the Spider-Verse is a better kid's movie, or TMNT Mutant Mayhem is a better kid's movie,
Yeah.
kids are going to like both of them no matter what. So even if I think one is derivative and the other one has, a lot more integrity and creativity behind it, the objective truth is that they're both going to make bank.
kids enjoy it. Yeah,
So
that's true.
what can you do? One is just going to get replayed on Nickelodeon every Sunday, and the other one is just
Yeah, kids movies are a weird one.
so. That's the one thing where you kind of have.
By
to
the way,
give
10
leeway.
likes and I'll go watch Paw Patrol and give you guys a one-on-one book report. Been thinking about that movie a lot.
You and Connor, go ahead. I'll sit that one out. I won't give in to the
No, I won't
propaganda.
actually go watch it because it'll just be me by myself in a theater full of children, and it definitely will get the cops called on me. Especially with the facial hair
The
that
Paw Patrol?
the facial hair that I wear.
That's fair.
Um,
Yeah.
Definitely would not sit well with a lot of moms, I imagine.
Understandable. You just got to take Connor with you, and then you'll.
Connor, I have been told Connor is like my child, so
Yeah.
yeah, that makes sense.
That'll make sense. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
I think that's it for me though.
If
Do
you
have
could
anything?
cast one Formula One driver in a superhero film, replace him with any actor in a superhero film.
Wait. So I'm taking a Formula One driver
You're
and putting
taking-
him as a character in
You're
any
saying
movie.
Robert Downey Jr., you are being replaced with Fernando Alonso.
Could you imagine that?
Nothing changes.
Kimi Räikkönen in this suit, like, where's the drink?
Jarvis is
Jarvis
like,
is
you
like-
will not have the drink.
Jarvis is yelling in his ear. He's like, shut up, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Classic Kimmy. Oh, that's a good one. What would yours be? You go first. Let me see.
I like the idea of Kimi Räikkönen as Iron Man. You just remove all, like, he's just as charismatic, but he has, like, 2% lines.
Yeah. He talks a lot more snappy. He's not as nice to his inner person in his ear.
Yeah.
And it like just kind of works out perfectly.
Yeah, I feel like he's a good.
I'm trying to think of someone like older.
Like an older driver or an older
Yeah,
superhero
an older
character?
driver.
That makes sense. You would take like Nigel Mansell and you would make him like Spider-Man.
Make him like Alfred.
Alfred?
Alfred.
That'd be good.
That'd be kind of cool. Especially because he has that
The big
thick
mustache?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
Well, Alfred's British, and I think Nigel Mansell, I don't know if he was British or Australian.
I think he.
You might have to,
I think he
uh,
was British, right?
I think he probably was British.
Then he
I'm
drove
just
for
being-
Williams. I know that.
I'm just being racist.
I mean, they sound similar. Now that's racist, but it's also the truth.
Nigel Mansell, he was British, so yeah,
Yeah,
he would be
okay.
perfect for your Alfred.
I would say I'm really trying to think of Lewis Hamilton right now. Because Lewis Hamilton is so photogenic. It's unbelievable.
I think, hear me out. You swap George Russell and Tom Holland, and nothing changes.
If anything, I hate Spider-Man more.
Fair enough. I like you, George. You're fine.
To be fair, I don't mind George off the track. It's when he's wearing a Mercedes jumpsuit that I absolutely cannot stand him.
Spider-Man goes into kill mode and it becomes a Mercedes.
I've seen him doing like press interviews or like when he's not talking about Red Bull or like when he's on streams with the boys. He's funny. He's hilarious. I enjoy him. The moment somebody brings up Red Bull or the moment he's racing, I hate you so much. Can't stand you.
Some might say that's a good thing. He does his job well.
Well, debatable.
As a driver,
he's like sixth.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. Sure. What have you? All right. Are we out of here?
I think we're out of here.
Do you want to do anything else?
You want to talk about the Formula One season?
We're at 55 minutes.
55 minutes.
Yeah.
Is Verstappen going to take the championship?
I don't know, man. It's looking pretty.
Looking pretty tight.
Pretty tight.
Yeah.
You might not win. There's a TikTok I have to show you when we get off.
All right.
But it's like here's the music of all the winners, and it goes like the Dutch national anthem, some Mexican song, the Dutch national anthem, Mexican song, and then it's like Dutch anthem, Dutch anthem, Dutch anthem, Dutch anthem. It's like 15 in a row or something like
That's
stupid. I think he's at 8 in a row or something dumb. Honestly, I love it. Do you hate it? I feel like you hate it.
I think it's fine. How many seasons of Lewis Hamilton do you? I know the entire lyrics to the British national anthem at this point. I might as well be speaking Dutch by the end of this season.
I did see a tweet from an F1 account that was like it was like one of those F1 accounts, and somebody I guess had quote tweeted when the World Cup was going on, and they were like, I'm already tired of hearing this because the Netherlands went far. They went to like the quarterfinals, I think. So their anthem was playing a lot. And so somebody tweeted like, I'm tired of this stupid anthem. It's not even good. And some F1 fan was like, oh, first time? And they sent a picture of Max on the podium.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, that's us.
That's how that feels.
I love it. I love Max.
Oh, absolutely.
I enjoy him. I
I
enjoy when people get mad at him. Like there was some lady on one of the shows I was on. She's like, I hate Max. He's a mean person. I was like, no, you hate him because he's good. And like because he's not Lewis Hamilton.
And you hate him because he's good and no one else is better.
Yeah.
That's why you hate him.
Yeah.
As a person, he's absolutely fine.
Yeah, he's hilarious.
Yeah.
I think he's funny when he's yelling at GP or Christian Horner.
Yeah.
It's so funny to me. When he's like, hey, we're going to go for fastest lap. And they're like, Max, I don't think we should. He's like,
I'm going to get fastest lap.
I'm going to do it. It cracks me up. I love it. I kind of hope he wins
everything.
Yeah. Just because it would be so cool just to be like, damn, somebody did that. To see that happen live. Because we've seen every race.
I feel like I would appreciate it if you retired after doing it.
I think he will. I think he's gonna get like 4. And he's like, I'm done.
That's understandable. Yeah, I don't know if he seems like the kind of guy who would go for 7 just to tie.
I feel like he'd just get bored. He'd be like, let's go race go-karts or like.
He pulls. This is you might not.
He gets into that like scooter league the scooter Formula scooter that's running around now.
That's hilarious.
Just for fun.
I see him pulling like I don't know if you watch chess, but Magnus Carlsen, greatest player of all time, highest ranked. Chose not to defend his title because he knew nobody could beat him. He's like, whatever, guys, I'm out.
You guys figure it out.
Yeah.
There's a big old power vacuum in F1.
I can see that happening. Yeah, Lewis Hamilton wins his 8th immediately after he retires.
That's probably what he's holding out for, right? Yeah. It's just for Max to retire in like 3 years. I could see that. All right, who gets second? That's the real fun.
Sergio.
What about for the teams?
Aston Martin.
There's like 100 points separating 2 through 5 or something crazy, and McLaren's right there at like 130 back or something.
I think craziest prediction would be McLaren. They take.
I think
second in the constructors.
No joke. I think it is McLaren. I think McLaren.
I think they can do it.
3-4s the rest of the way, and they just start like killing everybody.
Yeah,
because they probably have the strongest drivers.
they're both consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the most consistent drivers, I should say. Because it's like, Leclerc signs is going to crash in qualifying.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but Verstappen will get pole every race, but who knows where Perez is going to be.
Yeah.
Hamilton will get third every qualifying, but who knows where Russell is going to be.
He's like allergic to second.
Yeah.
He either gets pole, third, or he's just not
DNFs.
even around. Yeah.
He gets replaced with Jack Aiken for a single race.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think McLaren, they're gonna take the rest of the season by storm. I think.
I think so too.
Poor Aston Martin.
Spicy take.
Poor Fernando.
Well, I mean, it doesn't help when you're,
second driver is trash.
Once again, what's the term? Why am I thinking of necromancy? Not necromancy. What is it?
Necromancy.
When you know somebody like famous, and like someone famous helps you, but you're related to them.
Oh, nepotism.
Nepotism. There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you. I knew it was a word that started with that.
I'm sure you would need the powers of necromancy to revive Aston Martin's position at this point.
Poor Alonso.
I know. Who knows?
Oh, well, he's got Taylor Swift to go back to him. So it's all good. Anyways, we're out.
Nice.
We're gone.
Nice
we'll see y'all tomorrow, I think. Or someday. I don't know. We'll figure it out.